Today, I'll take you step by step through how I created the lighting in these test shots. My idea was to show a day in the life of the lady in a 1-minute video, using only one location for filming. I needed to show morning, i.e. the time when the lady arrives at the house, the evening when the lady finds a letter, and nighttime when an unknown person watches the lady. And all scenes were filmed in one studio, and it took us 4 hours. Hi guys, my name is Sergey Zotov. I'm a filmmaker and DP from Cyprus. So let's discuss the lighting scheme for the first scene. Scene number 1. Here's our studio. It's a space made into 2 rooms separated by a wall with a window. Shooting was done at night, so no daylight could filter through the room. I put an Arri HMI 1200 with a light temperature of 6000 degrees Kelvin here. The light shone through the window and created a pattern on the wall to imitate the increasing morning sunlight. I achieved an excellent light and shadow pattern on the wall, but this light alone was not enough for the viewer to believe that it was morning. During daylight hours, we see very bright sunlight passing through windows and bouncing off of many different surfaces in a room, and that's why we usually see soft, diffused light. To create this diffused daylight effect, we added an Aputure 300D Mark II with a light temperature of 5500 degrees Kelvin on a boom above the room. We did not need a grid since I did not need to form a specific light spot, but just needed to add the amount of light for the correct exposure. It turned out well, but there was not enough color contrast. So I added an Arri 650 Plus with a light temperature of 3200 degrees Kelvin to increase the contrast in the image. Visually, there's a feeling that the warm light comes from this practical device and it looks naturally. Scene number 2. In this scene, the lady finds a mysterious letter. We were simulating an evening, so I decided to lower the amount of light and also slightly change the color temperature of the fill light. So, I placed an Aputure 300D Mark II with a grid and a half CTO gel on a boom above the lady. This gave me a 3800 degrees Kelvin color temperature and a light spot next to the actress. Outside the window, I placed an Arri 650 Plus with a light temperature of 3200 degrees Kelvin on a high tripod. This was to backlight the actress, but it also gave the impression of evening light due to the yellow tint. Also, I put an Arri HMI 1200 with half CTO gel with a color temperature of 3800 degrees Kelvin through the window. This practical light illuminates the background. I particularly liked the feeling of mystery that we were able to create in this scene. Scene number 3. Let's move to the final scene. Here we are simulating night. As the key light, I chose an Aputure 300D Mark II with a color temperature of 5500 degrees Kelvin with a grid on a boom. This simulated an overhead light like a chandelier that could have hung from the ceiling in the room. Next, I needed to amplify the light from the practical lamp that was on the bedside table. So I placed the Arri 650 Plus next to the bed and reflected off the whiteboard. It made a soft, warm fill light. Outside the window, we placed an Arri HMI 1200 with full CTB gel to make the light a more spectacular blue. For the last frame, we didn't change anything, we just turned off the Arri HMI 1200 so that the silhouette was as dark as possible. The silhouette of the man looks great due to the contrast between the illuminated scene in the window and the unlit figure of the person in the foreground. This video was filmed on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K with a Panasonic Lumix GX Vario 12 to 35mm f2.8 Mark II ASPH Power OIS lens. Remember that good cinematic lighting doesn't need a lot of expensive equipment. You can achieve great results with only a few devices used wisely. Always make your own movie. Subscribe to the channel, press the bell, and don't miss my new videos.